It will not broadcast.
Now we're live.
Ah, okay. Welcome. This is Matthew Michelle. You're watching Divine Anarchy on Liberty Movement. Sorry, not Liberty Movement. Sorry, Voluntary Virtues Network. I am your host. I am here this week. I will be interviewing Tom Jefferson of Liberty Beacon. So, Tom, if you can introduce yourself, tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Hey guys, my name's Tom and I'm an alcoholic. No, well, I hail from Tampa Bay, Florida. I'm a musician by trade. And then I heard about this Bundy stuff, so I threw up a GoFundMe.com account, raised $1,400, and then headed west, man. Nothing but asses and elbows, and came to help the militia up here in Bunkerville, Nevada. Then I came down to Las Vegas to get this Liberty Beacon thing going.
Okay, so here we were going to we're going to talk about the what's happening in the Bundy Ranch in case people aren't aware of what's going on for some odd, weird reason. Maybe they've been living under a freaking rock for the last 10 years or what have you. Maybe they were Amish and just wind up discovering this awesome thing called the internet. I doubt that would ever happen, but just in case viewers aren't aware of what's going on, can you give us the background of what's happening in Nevada and with how the federal government has come in clash with Clive and Bundy?
Absolutely. I talked to Cliven multiple times during my stay there, every day really, and from what I gather, he tried to pay his taxes to the state of Nevada because he did not believe that the federal government had a valid claim to his taxes. So he tried to pay the state of Nevada, but I don't think he really knew that. I brought it to his attention that all of the western states, really, all of their state constitutions say that the people of each state surrender the public land to the federal government. Now, what Cliven's doing, he's been homesteading that land. It's been in his family for generations since the 1800s. He's got a piece of property, X by X, I don't know how many acreage he has, but what he was doing was allowing his cattle to free range over 600,000 acres of unclaimed public land. Now, as government bureaucracies, federal government, even local too, as they often do, it's in their nature to plunder. That's what they do. So they came up with this excuse about the desert tortoise is endangered and how they need to protect the tortoise. So they came in there, because he didn't pay them the tax money, they came in there pointing guns at citizens and brutalizing peaceful protesters, and even going as far as setting up First Amendment zones. So once they had snipers trained on citizens, they had bulldozers, they were killing cattle, they killed 32 cattle, they ran over fucking tortoises that they were there to protect, and at that point, when they had snipers trained on the peaceful protesters, that's when the militia came, thanks to the internet. Within a matter of hours, there was a force there, a purely defensive force, that protected the protesters and the Bundy family, and they sent the feds packing. And you know, that's my cup of fucking tea. Whenever I hear that's happening, I'm there, dude. And it was a great display of voluntarism. People were there voluntarily standing up for what was right, and that's why I went.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually awesome. Because normally, you have to think of it. Generally, you heard of hear the federal government backing up when people come in with arms, right? Generally, we go, oh, we can't fight with arms. Logistically, think about it. The federal government twice as more funded. They have fucking tanks or what have you to come in if they wanted to, right? So it's actually awesome that a militia could tell the federal government to take a bloody hike.
Well, make no mistake about it. They did not take a hike. They just changed their tactics. They tried to infiltrate. We kicked out multiple people, not by force, but by, hey, you fucking leave, and you leave right fucking now. And there was a couple feds there that got the boot real quick, but other than that, they didn't stop. There was every fucking day and all night long there were military helicopters flying right over my camp. So I made sure I did the helicopter with my dick. I went outside of my tent and waved my dick around and flicked them off a little bit. But yeah, it didn't stop. They just changed their tactics, and it's not going to stop. They're still going after him. They're just going to terrorize him through the judicial system. They're not going to do it by force. They're just going to, well, the judicial system is force, but they'll make it look like he's getting a fair trial. But in the end, we all know what's going to happen.
Well, right. I mean, legally they should have went the judicial route first, anyhow. But some odd reason, I shouldn't say some odd reason, talk about a group of thugs. Of course, they're going to violate their own rules and regulations, right?
Absolutely.
The question is, did any officials of the Nevada state government try to weigh in on the issue? I mean, did the state government decide to either step in and say, what we think the Bundy ranchers or try to help and aid the federal government, or were they more or less neutral during the affair so far?
It's fucking hilarious that you bring that up because, yeah, you know why? Because it's a fucking election year. So the incumbent stepped up and said something about it and made sure that she voiced her opinion about the Bundys and how she stands by them. But let's go back to when the militia first showed up and there was the standoff. Well, Sheriff Gillespie, the Clark County Sheriff, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, the sheriff here in this county, he refused to do his fucking job as he swore an oath to the Constitution. He failed to do his job. He did not protect the Bundy family after they requested it. He instead came out, was awarded Sheriff of the Year by Harry Reid, and we all know what happened. He just bowed down. He bowed down. He succumbed to threats from the federal government is what he did. He's a pussy. If you're in Clark County and for some reason you feel the need to vote to force your opinion on others, don't vote for Sheriff Gillespie. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, out of all the that's cool. I mean, it's sad that the sheriffs aren't. Generally, at least historically, all sheriffs, at least in this day and age, have been towing down to the federal government. Hopefully, that I think Sheriff Mack is pursuing great inroads on that and trying to get sheriffs or local deputies and whatnot to help reassert their own roles in standing against the federal government. But I mean, that's hopefully there will be somebody to do that at the local level there. But anyhow, let's see, what else do I want to ask? But you said they ran over the same tortoise that they tried to protect. How predictable the federal government? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, ain't that the same piece of land that the federal government also, or at least near a piece of land that the federal government's also been testing bombs and shit at?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago, but yeah, absolutely. Actually, where we were camped, we were in Bunkerville, Nevada, and the medicine hall was in a bunker that the federal government built back in the day when they were testing bombs. You know, so it's I'm not sure of the turtle count. I'm not sure how many they killed. I know they killed 32 or 34 cattle, most of them cows. Most of them cows that had calves. So the people that showed up at the ranch to help the militia, a lot of them were nursing the baby calves and trying to reacclimate a calf with a cow. Um, you know, a cow that recently gave birth and had her cows, and then we tried to tried to get other calves to nurse with that cow. It's very very typical of a government agency to do shit like that. Kind of like let's talk about Iraq right now, which is trending on Twitter. Uh, you know, they break stuff to build stuff. Keynesian economics, that's another story. But they break it down, they build it back up, and in the wake of this, there are there's so much fucking death and there's so much destruction. And thankfully at the ranch, we only had destruction. We didn't have death. Not yet, but it's not over, man. It's not over. And all of those people, even though I got in many heated debates with them, they're all constitutionalists. They're all very religious, and they're good people, man. They really are. They're good people. They mean well. They just don't know. They don't know how to logic, if you will. They get mad and defensive. It's the typical cult of statism. It's rampant there. I almost got thrown out twice.
Yeah, that's what I would think about the. But the question I would with the has anybody been hurt at the over this altercation? There been any harm to actually done to persons, not counting the cow, just human beings?
What, over the standoff?
Yeah, I mean, had the government ever hurt? I mean, was anybody shot or hurt, killed, or any harm actually came to any physical person?
Yes, the Bureau of Land Management did injure 3 people before the standoff. That's why the standoff did occur. Dave Bundy, son of Cliven, was tasered, and he had dogs sicked on him, as you can see in a YouTube video. I forget her name, Margaret Bundy, I believe. 58 years old, has cancer, thrown to the ground by the Bureau of Land Management after almost being run over by a Bureau of Land Management driver. And there was another person, I can't remember their name. It was a woman, and she was tasered as well. Pregnant woman thrown to the ground. Yeah, 6.5 months pregnant, thrown to the ground by the fucking enforcers, bro.
Wow. Then again, it's not that surprising. Being, I think there was a story in the media. I read a story like the other week or something where some. Oh no, I think it was my mom. I read a story or heard about a story. Anyhow, where a woman, a pregnant woman who was speeding, tried to get to the hospital one night because she's pregnant. She was pulled over. The cop ordered her out of the car and whatnot. She came out the car running to the police. The police officers could help. She's pregnant, about to go in labor, right? Running to the police officer. The police officer said, "Stop!" And freeze or you don't. He paid the poor woman. I mean, it's insane.
Well, you know why? Do you know why? They have the federal government has a contract with a company that makes the police uniforms. Apparently, this company has a patent on magical fucking rights, and so whenever they put on this fucking costume, you know, they've got more rights than you. Apparently. Yeah, it's a joke, man. It really is. It's fucking sickening. And then people just sitting on Facebook, like going on Police One's Facebook page, and all the authority worship. I saw a video of a man running from the police. He had a shotgun. He stopped. Cop had him in the sights. He said, "Put the gun down." The dude starts putting the gun down. A cop comes around from the back and shoots him 3 fucking times as he's putting the gun down. And then the comments on the Facebook page were like, oh, the fucking bootlicking was so strong, man. They were like, oh, the boys in blue, I wouldn't trade places with them. They don't get paid enough. Like, are you fucking serious? I just saw video proof of police execution, and these fucking bootlickers are saying the police don't get paid enough? Wow.
A government employee wind up getting, it doesn't matter what job the government employees do, they generally get the most paid of all government employees. The only ones really that aren't really getting paid are the volunteers. There are volunteer police officers. I know because my papa was one for the Florida Highway Patrol. But outside of the volunteer, you have, I mean, if they're police officers that's getting paid by the state, they're going to have pensions. They have union rep, and they have a whole bunch of whole benefits and whatnot that the state guarantees. If anyone get paid by the state, it really the person is better off than most employee workers actually. So the idea that they aren't getting paid off enough is you literally have to have your head stuck up your ass to even believe any of that. So.
Yeah, it's a whole other world today, man.
Yeah. So we have this standoff to why you're there to collect interviews, and did you just interview Cliven or do you interview other people as well?
I interviewed 3 boys from New York. I interviewed 3 boys from Tennessee. I've got interviews scheduled from 5 guys from Missouri, all militia. I interviewed Cliven multiple times, and I'm going back for more. Arturo and I, that's my business partner with Liberty Beacon. He's the guy I was telling you about that was running supplies up to me once or twice a week. He ran when Larkin Rose mailed the books over. He brought the books out there, all 3 boxes of them. Well, what we're doing is we're going back, and since I know people there, I know the core, the people that are staying for the long run, the real people, not the ones that come from fucking for 2-3 days and then leave. The real dedicated, liberty-loving, even though they don't know it yet, individuals. I'm going to be going back and collecting more interviews with them. I'm doing a documentary right now about it, even though I don't really have enough good footage to do the documentary. That's why we're going to be going back once or twice a week and talking to people, getting the scoop, taking some filler shots, just of the terrain and some signs around there, so you can get the whole feel of the ranch, what it was like to be there. For me, man, it was such a great experience, and if anybody that donated to my GoFundMe is watching this show right now, thank you so fucking much, man, because I was able to, I was working at Taco Bell when I decided to come out here, and fuck, that sucked, and I had a really, really great experience. I was able to do what I love and be around like-minded individuals, even if they do wave a flag and pretend that they're free. That's fine. That's fine with me, man. They're good people, and thank you again to anybody who donated. That was definitely a life-changing experience, and it's something that I will remember forever, so seriously, thank you guys.
Oh yeah, well most statists are really good, decent people, and actually I think that, and it's the reason why the state thrives, because most people are moral, decent human beings, and they just do what they believe is good, and they're just duped with this superstitious that obedience to authority is a virtue and what have you, and they define morality and that weird paradigm. But overall they're good people, and this is why the state can get away with much of what it did, is because of the genuine goodness of its subjects. I think even Larkin Road dealt a lot with that. But anyhow, I mean that. I mean, would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I did get into an argument I overheard when I was working in the kitchen. I worked in the mess hall for about 12 hours a day, and I overheard a man talking about how Leviticus is the law of the land. So I stood up and I said, "So you stone your son after an argument and you sell your daughter into sex slavery?" And I mean, they're good people. They interpret the Bible to make themselves feel like moral individuals, if you will, But they're good people. Most of the time, they believe in a limited government only when they can't impose their views on other people. That's the dilemma. I mean, I tried to get them to understand that government is force. A limited government cannot exist because you're fucking voting for people to make decisions over other people. That's force. But back to the original question. Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment for the most part. Most people, they believe what they want to believe. Sure, they might try to preach to you. That's not forcing you. That's just inconveniencing you. But I try to tell them that once you get to the voting polls, man, that changes everything. You're then living in sin because you're violating every commandment that you preach when you vote. You're killing, essentially. You're, my Iraq, we gotta police the Iraqis, get the fuck out of here, the neocons. But yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Oh yeah, I agree there. So, how many people? I know you took some some book by Larkin Rose, like The Most Dangerous Superstitions, and other books at the Bundy Ranch. So how many people there would you say were generally? I'm not sure if I presume while you were there, you were spreading the message of liberty. How many there were more or less receptive?
Oh, receptive. That's the word there. People believe what they want to believe, and I'm not one to shove it down anybody's throat, but I will engage in logical discussion, absolutely. Receptive? I can't answer that because, most people are very, very religious, both when it comes to Christ and when it comes to the state. The state more so. They're more religious than they are with Christ in that aspect. But receptive, I don't know. How many people did I get the books to? Over 100. Over 100 people I put the books in their hands. Did they read them? I don't know.
Good, fair enough. You talked philosophy or anything, particularly this type of issue with Cliven himself?
Oh, oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Come on, Tom Jefferson with a video camera, Clive and Bundy, of course. I asked him. I started the interview with all 44 United States presidents have violated the United States Constitution. Would you say the problem is the person on the throne, or would you say the problem is the fact that there is a throne? I've got it on video, haven't uploaded it yet, but he said, to summarize his answer, he said that it's both.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't but the first generation that they passed a freaking law limiting the freedom of speech. So that should tell you something. The very same man that said, thou shalt not the government cannot restrict the freedom of speech or infringe upon the freedom of speech, which presumes that that freedom exists prior to government. That same generation passed the law and said, "Oh, you can't criticize the department of the federal government. You can criticize our opponent and the vice president. That you can do, but we won't come after you. But if you criticize the president, criticize Congress, we're going to land you in jail." But and you wind up having this type of shit all throughout. But so I get it that I know the media. I'm not sure how bad it was in the local media, but the national media, of course, like they do everything, they love drama, and they really love anyone who stands up against painting anyone who stands up against the federal government, especially when a liberal is in office, as some type of crazy loon or racist, and they definitely try to do that with Cliven Bundy, with his the clip in which he compared what the federal government doing and said, look, it's worse than slavery, basically. So they played that and tried to turn him into a racist. I mean, do you have any thoughts upon that clip, or clarify exactly what the media left out of that clip, if they did? Did the local media play into that race baiting?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was a man, you might know him as the Minister of Truth on YouTube, T-Mont. He's a black guy that always rants in his car. Have you seen that?
Well, I know who you're talking about. He's running for Senate, I think, in his state of Georgia. So.
Yep, you're absolutely right. From Atlanta. He flew out there, and what a great man. Lots of laughs. What a great man. Yeah, he came out there and he talked with Cliven right after that whole, the slavery commentary that Cliven made, which was taken way out of context. I mean, to veer off topic for a second, 2 out of the 5 people in Cliven's private security detail are fucking black. So would you race baiters just chill the fuck out for 1 second? But aside from that, it's all about fucking context. And Cliven basically said that, I believe his words were, is the Negro better off today than he was during slavery? Okay, so let's examine that for a moment. He's comparing slavery then, circa 16 to 1800, 1900, well, to slavery today. Who's the most enslaved by the state today? I would say the black community, and that's what Cliven was talking about. They're stuck on the welfare state, and what they do in exchange for that, as you know, Lyndon B. Johnson, I'll have those niggers voting Democrat for the next 200 years, is what he said. Now, most black people vote for the left in exchange for the welfare state, in exchange for them wanting more government. Their answer to everything is more government, 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 government. But I'm going to get back to the Minister of Truth, T-Mont, Alan Grayson from Atlanta, Georgia. I believe his interviews with the local Las Vegas news stations, they could be found on YouTube. I can't remember which damn stations they were, but I was present for an interview with Fox was really the only one that came out there, catering to the conservative statism. But Mr. Grayson even agreed, as a black man who is a black community organizer, he agreed with Cliven's statement, and he reaffirmed it. He talks to the black community. That's what he does for a living. He goes around and talks to the black community, and he reaffirmed Mr. Bundy's statement. So I challenge any fucking race baiter on this. Come on, Liberty Beacon race baiters. Come on. I've got a couple of them on Liberty Beacon's page right now saying that, that our page is racist because I shared something from the Bundy Ranch. So I challenge anybody that's listening that's a race baiter, come the fuck on. Let's do it.
Well, okay. It is now 10:30, which means we practically have to go. But before we go, do you have anything? Where can our listeners find you if they want to contact you for Liberty Beacon or whatever?
Okay.
Maybe you want to give that out.
Yep, you can find me down at the adult movie store by the third glory hole on the left. No, I'm just kidding. You can find us on facebook.com/Liberty Beacon 2014. That's 2014. You can search Jefferson Tom on Facebook. You'll see me there. I also admin Death of the Patriot on Facebook. I admin Shit Retards Say. Shit Anarchist Meme Says. That's a funny one. But yeah, you'll find me on Facebook if you're looking for me. And Liberty Beacon YouTube accounts. We don't have anything going yet, but we will have a show up here on the Voluntary Virtues Network. Me and my partner Arturo Ruggierioli. Good man. Is very generous. He's helping me out a lot since I've been back from the ranch. He's given me a place to stay and. You know, so.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for that. Go check them out at Liberty Beacon Facebook page. Guys, peace out. This is Matthew Mansell of Divine Anarchy, wishing you to live in divinity, live in anarchy. So, shalom, shalom.